maybe that'll work. So the proof of the non-physical, evidence of things not seen. That's been something on my mind a lot lately. I'm always wanting to find proof because I have this knowing. Wow, it's warm in here, about existence beyond the physical. I have very little uncertainty, which there is still some, and that's a problem. There must be zero uncertainty for there to be peace and happiness. But the proof, so if I could prove to at least my loved ones, the people that are close to me, if I could prove to them that we do exist beyond this physical world, and everything we see outside of us that we think is all there is. We think that this out here is that they're all, it is it all. That's all it is. And we just happen to be these physical meats, these beings that are just bumping around, and it's all by happenstance. Whether it's on purpose or not is irrelevant. However, the non-physical nature of things is something that's very hard to convince people of. And a person convinced against their own will is of the same opinion still. So, how do we get people to convince themselves, or get people to at least understand and process the possibility that there is a non-physical existence, that we do exist beyond our bodies? So the thought that kept coming up today for me that relates to this, and it came up in multiple different videos. I listened to 6+ hours worth of videos while I'm working during the day, if I can, as long as my headphones aren't broken and the socialist rulers of Walmart aren't telling you to take your headphones out. Now, I understand they tell you to do that for customer service purposes, but the way things have gotten, I'm like, you guys can take your rules and shove them. Because I'm like, before long, you guys are pushing the buttons on the gas chambers, and that's how it happens. So, sometimes we've got to put our foot down and not just give in to the rules. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. We're talking about proof of non-physical existence. Woo! Talk about a nanu. 5G'd. Dang it. Proof of non-physical existence. Now, everything that we see in the world is proof of non-physical existence. Now, this is a fascinating paradox. I shouldn't have waited till this far into the video to just say this. It would have been better for the first 4 seconds. But I have a hard time about that. And so here we are, going on without uncertainty. I'm just being certain that it needs to be said. So everything we see outside of us comes from inside of us. Now, if that's not proof enough, let me break it down a little bit more. And this is really what I was hearing today in my listenings. Outside of nature, so the plants and the trees, I don't know why plants and trees would be different, but the flora and the fauna, that which we do not manipulate, the natural things that we were given were there. But besides all of those things, nothing else existed until it was a non-physical formation. You might be saying, what the hell do you mean, Chase? This just doesn't make any sense. Especially with the tangents you got going on the side. So, Like the car in front of me here is a Kia. Kias did not exist until it was a thought for someone. And what is a thought? Well, thoughts are things, but a thought is a non-physical. A thought is something that exists outside of the world of touch, the five senses. That makes me think of Wayne Dyer's talk on the spiritual being versus the five sensory being versus the spiritual being. And that's just it. So outside of the five senses, you find emotions, you find intuition, you find thought. So you find all these things that, if you really look into it, make up 99% of who we are. So I forget exactly who said it. I just heard it earlier. But it's a quote, and it's 99% of who we are is something you can't touch, taste, or smell, or hear. Maybe you can hear it. But it's a non-physical thing. So I like the example. Woo, this guy's revving it up. I bet you already guessed he's got a lifted Jeep. Sorry, no judgment. That's the five. That's the pattern interrupts there. The non-physical. I always like the example of the Empire State Building or a lifted Jeep. We can go past the lifted Jeep guy here and think of it like these things did not exist until after they existed in a non-physical form. So the Empire State Building or lifted Jeeps or stoplights, whatever it is in the world, could not have existed until they existed previously in non-physical formation by a conscious intelligence. Possibly. That just dawned on me. It may be the manifestation of physical things may be directly related to a to a sovereign conscious intelligence. Because controlled and sovereign are different things. Sovereignly controlled by the individual, by the consciousness. I don't know. So certain words in the English language, like control, have many meanings and can have a negative connotation. But the secret of the universe is what you think about expands. So if you think of words with a negative connotation, that will expand for you. And if it expands for you, it probably increases the probability, increases the probability of it expanding for other people, because we are the mirror at all times. So what we do ends up reflecting onto others and allows them to decide if that is the way they would like to proceed or not. I love it when some people just don't let you in. But the great thing is I can focus on the task at hand here while ranting like I normally do. And luckily I can be hands-free. Hands-free, ladies and gentlemen. The non-physical existence. Why is that so important to me? To get people to understand, or maybe I'm trying to convince myself. Maybe I'm lacking in certainty of the non-physical existence. I might be real close, but maybe I just need to have some what is it called? Affirmation from other. I want to see that my loved ones understand this peace. Because once you get it, it's like the peace that surpasses all understanding. Air quotes, because, You know how famous the gentleman who quoted it was, so, you know, we'll just... The peace that surpasses all understanding. It's like, this is available. We just have to understand things in a different way. We have to really begin to disassociate, or maybe release our tendrils from around this physical world that we cling to so much. Because, as it goes back to the video I did earlier, certainty versus uncertainty, it's like, once you become certain, confident, knowing, there is no doubt. Once you release the uncertainty and come into the comfort of pure certainty, it's like, yes. It's almost like everything has a perfect stability when you begin to see the certainty. I don't know. I kind of got off there, but it's like, to finish it up, the non-physical, proof of the non-physical, to me, is in the things that we have created from the world of the non-physical. Now that would, you know, somebody could argue the pop-in theory, which I've mentioned before, something I got from Wayne Dyer. The pop-in theory, it's like your thoughts just pop into your head from somewhere else. It's like somebody else is controlling it. I'm like, so then that gives people the ability to blame themselves on something outside of themselves, and then you have a lack of personal empowerment. And that, I would say, comes from, once again, all the way back to this uncertainty of the existence of the non-physical side of things. So the proof of things unseen comes from a profound certainty and knowing that the things seen come from a realm of the unseen. I am Chase Corrington. This is the Chase Corrington YouTube channel. If you get value from the content that I provide, then consider subscribing. Smash the like button. I don't say that hook, line, or whatever you want to call it, call to action as often anymore. It's just too fake. I just like ranting, getting my opinions across, and hopefully helping somebody along the journey, more just documenting my journey. That's where the real help comes in. But seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment. Seek to discover the hidden mysteries of our reality and the hidden wisdom of the ages. I'll be back in the future with more interesting content to throw your way.